Taking you through 3 word problems. So problem solving with quadratic equations. Given the hypotenuse of a right triangle has a length of 10 meters, one leg of the triangle is 2 meters longer than the other. Find the lengths of the triangle. So always try to get a visual of what the question is asking. So let's draw this right angle triangle. It says the hypotenuse of the triangle has a length 10 meters, so we know this is 10. And then it says one leg of the triangle is 2 meters longer than the other. So this gives me information about one leg, but I don't have any other information about the other leg. So the leg of the unknown, I'm going to say it's x. That's my unknown. And then the leg of the length of the other leg, it says is 2 meters longer than the other. So this length is going to be 2 meters longer than this leg, which is x plus 2. So how do we solve this equation? Well, when we're working with all 3 lengths of a right angle triangle, this relates to our Pythagoras theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to simply substitute in each of these values, and a and b is going to be an expression of x, and c would be 10. So I'm going to take a squared, which is, I'm going to say is x squared, plus an x plus 2 squared is equal to 10 squared. All right, so now we want an equation. This gives us a quadratic equation that we want to solve for x. So we want to expand it, collect like terms, and then solve. All right, so we're going to expand this. So remembering the shortcut to expanding a binomial squared is I'm going to square the first term, multiply these 2 terms, and double its value. So x times 2 is 2x. I'm going to double that, which would be 4x. And then I'm going to square this last term, which would be 4. Equals 10 squared is 100. Okay, so I'm going to collect my like terms. At the same time, I'm going to make my equation equal to 0 because I have a quadratic equation, so we need to make it equal to 0. So I have 2x squareds plus 4x. If I bring 100 to the other side, this is going to become minus 96 equals 0. All right, so if I'm solving a quadratic equation, remember we have basically 3 methods to solve this now. Factoring, okay, completing the square, or quadratic formula. Honestly, we will never ever solve this using completing the square unless the question is specifically asking you. So we have 2 methods to solve this. Factoring or quadratic formula. You should literally spend no more than 30 seconds trying to factor the equation. If at that point you can't factor it, then move on and solve by quadratic formula. All right, so we're first going to try and factor this. So I can notice that I can factor out a common factor of 2. I'm going to look at the factors of 48 and ask myself what multiplies to 48 but adds to a positive 2. Well, this would factor to an x plus 8 and an x minus 6. So my solutions would be an x equals a negative 8 and a positive 6. All right, so thinking about what x represents in the question, well, x represents the length of this leg of the triangle. So obviously we can't have negative length, so I'm going to discard this answer. And therefore the lengths of the triangle are 6 meters, and then if I substitute 6 into here, 6 plus 2 would be 8 meters.